out Dick Sweat, Dick Cheese, and Thicc Moranis, but now we're live streaming on the internet. So,
I mean, I think that we should waste this time describing this theoretical movie, this engine for the glorious return of Rick Moranis to film, in which Thicc Moranis plays the monstrous antagonist, the villainous creature opposite, Dick Sweat and Richard Cheese.
No, see, you get this all wrong. We're going to use the Face app thing to film the whole movie. So we're just going to get some thick broad and just put his face over all of her scenes.
I mean, yes, but
and his voice,
reveal
right?
the movie, but don't reveal the movie magic before it's revealed, man.
I hate all of you. I don't even know what's happening right now.
It's like that movie Unfriended, but it'll actually be something resembling good.
Yeah, probably.
No, it won't.
No. Compared to that piece of shit, it will actually be good. And it'll be a successful horror movie in the sense that it does horrify me to think about.
Alright. So, you guys said something about following show suggestions.
Yeah, we've got a backlog of points in the suggestions that we just never address as we get off to infinite side conversations.
Well, let's change that.
Okay.
So,
I mean, you sound clear, but could you maybe turn yourself up a little bit, Church? You sound kind of quiet.
I'm not gonna do that.
All right.
You can't make me.
Well, hey, I mean, it's your show. If you want to, downgrade the quality, I ain't gonna stop you.
That's right. You're not. You're not.
So, I mean, how far back do you want to start? Because we have plenty of things we can skip. Some of them we've partially addressed already.
Well, the first thing that I see here is Marvel Comics creates anti-vaping propaganda for FDA.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I believe this was you, Ayrton. You seem to have a stake in this particular fight. So you want me to read the article and then we'll pause every couple of paragraphs and just reflect.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to start looking up old '90s art of Wolverine smoking now, or just let somebody else do it?
I mean, you can go ahead and do that if you want to. It's probably going to be needed.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get the article pulled up too, because it's kind of long, and after one section we can skip.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So the FDA Center for Tobacco Products will collect more than $700 million in tobacco company users' fees of this year. It is committed to spending a big chunk of that booty on anti-tobacco messaging, which nowadays means anti-vaping messaging. The real cost ads are supposed to be targeted at teenagers. Advertising agencies bid for the opportunity to wow the FDA and their clever ideas for driving home the message that vaping and nicotine are bad, abstinence is good, and it's cool to just say no. However, since the adventurous kids who are likely to try vaping aren't generally receptive to these messages, the process is repeated every year with no discernible effect. It will continue until the FDA stops collecting money from the tobacco companies or the sun explodes.
So essentially, when it says user fees, my voice just went out on me. So user fees basically means the FDA forces any company that produces anything with nicotine in it to give them money. So I just want to make that bit clear. The tobacco companies don't use the FDA for stuff. The FDA forces them to give them money.
Wait, what you're saying is, we'll allow you to sell this poison to our children and our elderly and people with cancer as long as you pay us your protection money? The FDA is basically the mob?
Yeah.
Out of context, I have found the perfect image of Wolverine smoking for this
Nice.
conversation in show chats. I want to throw that in the actual stream, immortalize it for the universe.
Go ahead and keep talking, Aaron.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how to add things in the thing. I leave technicals to people who know technicals. I don't know technicals.
So basically, we can skip a bit ahead. So essentially, the FDA uses the money they extort from tobacco, vape. I think even like bullshit, like lighters and stuff, are covered under that to essentially sell propaganda to children, and a lot of it is also funded by Bloomberg, which is a whole nother rabbit trail. But it's essentially Dare, if you guys remember the Dare program and how well that worked.
I was in it.
I still got T-shirts.
Yeah, it's essentially Dare, but for cigarettes and Juul. Is basically what they are. I think the last campaign that they did was a really, really bad, like 4-minute propaganda video with like a bunch of like pamphlets they were supposed to hand out with like a magician like an edgy like street like David Blaine type magician sitting there like going up to kids and like taking their vape and turning it into a cigarette and like shit like that. It's always bad. It's never good. The one before that was a video of kids hitting a vape and then getting infected by weird alien nicotine worm.
Do you guys remember the old anti-drug ads that were like, you know, this is your brain on drugs?
Yes.
This is exactly what that is.
Okay. I just remember the guys on pot like running over every kid riding a tricycle ever. Like apparently if you ride a tricycle, potheads will run you down.
Which to me says just don't ride a tricycle.
Right? Like just keep your kids off the tricycles and they'll be perfectly safe from these menacing weed heads.
Exactly.
Well, look. I mean, everyone's talking about the evil clown thing. I want to know why we're not talking about the roaming bands of potheads who are hunting children on tricycles.
Can I just say that I love the fact that all the ads on this page are to learn more about vaping and buy vaping things?
Well, this is a vaping industry blog.
It just shows how unbiased this particular source is. Not to say that they're wrong. I'm just saying like I'm not sure how unbiased this particular article is going to be.
They're extremely biased.
Okay.
But the point is, as we get into the next bit, this year a major part of the Real Cost campaign to reduce adolescent vaping is a comic book created for the FDA by ad agency FCB New York, which I believe has ties to Bloomberg as well. I have to double check that.
Okay.
And executed by Marvel Comics.
With iconic comics like Spider-Man, the Avengers, Marvel Comics parent company, Marvel Entertainment is owned by Disney. So Disney is doing the good deed and leading our kids away from the hazards of vaping. The terrible vaping.
Well, because this is a comics podcast and we talk about comics more often than not, I just want to mention that I recall a Swamp Thing from the Alan Moore era where the Floronic Man was going to cause a worldwide conflagration because he had convinced all the plants to put out too much oxygen. So, functionally, vaping and smoking is you fighting against supervillainy and saving the planet.
There you go.
Well, not only
I love it.
Not only that, let me go a step further here and say that back in the day, it wasn't lauded in the press or even talked about really, except in a wow factor. because the Comic Code Authority wouldn't let you do shit like this. And that's why back in the day when Stan Lee brought up the topic of drug use, it was edgy and it was cool and it was like pressing the boundaries. This is Marvel trying to tell you what to do as an adult. Because let's be fair here. How many fucking kids do you know that read comic books?
That, and how many kids are going to get this comic book and actually read it and not just sit there and laugh their asses off at how retarded it is.
Now, I'm assuming you've read this article, Ayrton, because it's the first time I'm seeing it.
Yes.
Okay, at any point in this article does it talk about how the program is launched and is going to print so many thousand copies to distribute via the Stop Children Vaping program?
Yep, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Okay.
It's going to be handed out through school programs during assembly, anti-drug smoking assembly.
So this isn't the first part of that. This isn't the first time Marvel's done this. This is actually very on brand for them. I actually think that I have 2 copies of the Spider-Man Stop Smoking comic that was like 8 pages that they gave you in Dare.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but it's not going to work. Is the point? It's
no, it didn't work when they did it before. But the thing is, it's kind of cool and it's interesting, and you know, call it what you want. And I know it goes against your industry, but let's just think out of context as comic fans here. This is one of the bigger companies throwing their money at something and saying, you know what, you know, if vaping's bad for kids, let's put a comic book out and pass it out to kids to show them how vaping is bad from Spider-Man's eyes.
Oh, and that's fine. I'm just, my point is, I just wanted to laugh at how ridiculous the fact that they're still trying this shit is, because it worked so good back in the 90s.
Well, the reason I find it irksome is because I actually have a comic in my collection of much beaten and much beloved comics that I got like at a school function of a Spider-Man comic where they all get blasted by a ray and end up traveling through different books, right? And it's all a very special story about how reading is amazing. And it's like, that's universally positive. Everybody can agree books are awesome. Why not make comics about how books are cool? Why not make comics about how fruit pies are cool? Why do we specifically have to make a comic about how vaping is the devil?
Right. And that's the thing. It's if I thought the comic was going to have some sort of information like, okay, listen, this new technology can help your grandma that you love so much stop smoking and live longer to spend more time with you, but you shouldn't get into it because nicotine can be addictive. That would be fine, but that's not where they're going with it. There's a video. I don't want to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but if we want to, I will. But it's essentially they're framing it as vaping as like a mind control gas that's infecting an entire high school and making kids who are straight A students start to not want to do their school work and become slackers and like all this sort of like it'll do all this stuff. It's not heroin.
Wait, if not, then what have I been paying so much for?
Well, you know, you're getting scammed.
Probably. Anyway.
I mean, Church, you went to the van that said free candy on the side, and you assumed there was going to be candy. Clearly, you've made a mistake with your life.
Well, I mean, when you're advertising free candy, I want free candy, goddammit.
Look, it's called rock, but it's not candy, man.
Advertising agencies bid for the opportunity to wow the FDA with clever ideas and driving home their message that vaping and nicotine are bad, abstinence is good, and it's cool to just say no. However, the adventurous kids who are likely to try vaping aren't generally receptive.
We did that bit.
Okay. You already know the story told in the anti-vaping comic because it's virtually identical to the 2018 Real Cause campaign called Epidemic, which a plague of invisible nicotine worms infested helpless teenagers and changed their brains.
It was so bad.
In the new fear-based anti-vaping campaign called the Mind Control Menace, e-cig vapor is a sickly green miasma that turns once motivated high school students into zombie-like dullards. It's less exciting than being eaten inside out by vape worms, but equally plausible. For most teens, high school is a time to enjoy more independence and self-reliance. With our partners in Marvel, we're framing addiction as an entity that subverts that freedom, which, for a 16-year-old, makes for a perfect villain.
Now, when you guys were 16, is that what you were thinking about?
No, I was thinking, hey, you know what? My parents don't like it if I smoke. I'm gonna smoke because it's cool. Fuck you, Mom.
And I was thinking, how do I get out of this without being pulled over by the police?
Yeah, really.
And I was thinking, how do I bang that chick? So
Okay,
you wasted your
adolescence. I
adolescence.
was asking myself, how do I hide this body? But that's a different matter.
The problem is the kind of teenager who's likely to try vaping or smoking or drinking or weed isn't going to be dissuaded by the TV commercial or comic book created by hipster ad executives and distributed by a school assembly. In fact, they'd probably read it and crack up while they pass the jewel around, the same way kids in 1969 got high while watching Jack Webb lecture kids about pot on Dragnet. Goddamn right we did. You're fucking goddamn right. That's exactly what happened. I have been to those parties.
Have you seen those episodes?
Yes, I've been to those parties. Yes.
No, like the anti-weed episodes of Dragnet.
No,
they're hilarious.
No, I know there were parties where I went to and we watched them while getting high.
That's about it. That's the gist of the article. The rest of it doesn't really pertain to anything else.
Well,
in our comic sphere.
Following the vapeworms, the ad wizards, the FCB tried a magician who turned vapes into cigarettes in 2019. Last year, they went back to the drug war basics in a campaign called Addiction Isn't Pretty, featuring kids fishing vapes out of toilets with their friends laughed at their addiction. Stigma is an anti-drug strategy of no return, throwing drug users under the bus to save potentially curious.
As another fellow tobacco consumer, have you ever needed a cigarette so bad that you would be willing to fish one out of a toilet?
No, you go to the ashtray and you find a rolling paper and you roll a cigarette out of cigarette butts.
Exactly.
That's the go-to junkie move.
Exactly.
As a former janitor, I can attest that if you are in a bar and you're 15 at 3 in the morning and you're cleaning a toilet and the drunk guys have dropped a shitload of change, that if you have thick enough rubber gloves, you will pocket that change because that change still has fiduciary value.
I feel like this story...
But no, I'm not going to go smoke a cigarette out of the toilet.
I feel like the story has darker corners than toilet change. And I don't like talking about it, Rune. I feel like if you're in a bar with skeezy drunk men and there's change on the floor, that there's something really wicked that happened in that bar when you were 15. And it explains a lot of things.
The thing that's actually going on is my old man used to have a janitorial company.
You should have known better than to go to the bar that Father O'Malley frequented.
That's right.
No, seriously. My old man
You'd have been a fine altar boy.
And my summer job was to help him janitor. So it's like, what did Joe do when he was 15? I got to be in a bar.
Is that what the kids call it these days?
The thing is because I wasn't buying anything, it was legal because they were after hours. You know?
Right.
Oh yeah.
I used to watch like Bob Newhart and Dragnet, and that's in fact where I saw the anti-weed episode.
Mm-hmm.
Was taking a break while cleaning a bar late night, and Nick at Night was on, so we watched Dragnet, and they told us about how evil weed was with this kid that was clearly tripping out on something stronger than weed because nobody on weed acts like that.
No, they don't. Oh man, my
Like-
internet is just dog shit.
Why do I hear Star Wars music in the background of one of you two?
Not me.
Oh, you turn that down.
It just like
Ne-
happened all of a
ne-
sudden.
Yeah,
Next
it's when my mic
conversation point.
activates.
Next conversation point. Let's talk about the failure that is Star Wars.
I just realized that my bit rate is shit right now.
Is it?
It is. Anyway. I mean, as long as the stream is still working.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's going on, Darbs? Cross Comics, how you guys doing?
Oh, I didn't see cross coming. Yes, Lucifer's cabbage, the devil's lettuce. Or
Alright.
please let us smoke it, you dumb shits.
So we've got Zack Snyder, Batman kills, Superman kills, get over it.
Yeah. Which was my thing. I threw that in the thing. You want me to stagger over reading that?
I've got it pulled up. If you want to read it, be my guest.
Sure. Let me just pull it up myself. Zack Snyder, Batman kills, Superman kills, get over it. This is from a site called Vox. I know nothing about it, but it
Vox is
appears to be-
trash.
Oh, that's trash. But I mean, it's that fraction of.
I mean,
trash
content
that
is content. We'll
Yeah.
we'll take it. We'll take it.
I'm just saying it's not hey, some guy told me this on the back alley. It's like, no, it's a front. They have media. BV Superman director Zack Snyder doesn't think a non-lethal Batman could exist in real life. No shit.
Yeah, that's why it's a comic book, Zach.
Armed with a nefarious kind of energy that compels children to tell other children that there is no such thing as Santa Claus. Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice director Zack Snyder wants fans of Batman and Superman to grow up and know that the characters kill people. Someone says to me, Ben Affleck's Batman killed a guy, Snyder said during a Q&A after a Watchmen screening event, as seen in a video posted to Reddit on March 24th. I'm like, fuck, really? Wake the fuck up. Comics fans complained to Snyder about the dark tone of his movies. He said, airing frustrations about how those heroes would have killed people without any kind of remorse or conscience, especially in Batman v Superman. Then he explained how in Watchmen, his 2009 film about the gritty reality of superheroes, in no uncertain, no family-friendly terms. Once you've lost your virginity to this fucking movie, and then you come to me and say something about, like, my superhero wouldn't do that, I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, down the fucking road on that, Snyder said. It's a cool point of view to be like, my heroes are still innocent. My heroes didn't fucking lie to America. My heroes didn't embezzle money from their corporations. My heroes didn't commit any atrocities. That's cool. But you're living in a fucking dream world, he added. Granted, Snyder has a point. Plunging the superhero stories into reality blurs the line between no-kill credos and the most enduring and beloved superheroes like Batman and Superman. And even if superheroes are not outright killing people, if you take a realistic view of their powers, they probably cause some life-altering injuries. But in the dream world that Snyder is so down on, it's literally a dream world, one called fiction. There are decades upon decades of comics where these characters have existed with a no-kill edict, and Snyder's movies are ostensibly based on them. And in dream worlds, you're allowed to suspend disbelief and believe your heroes don't kill, don't steal, and are morally good. Batman's no-kill edict may have been an editorial choice, but his decisions not to kill is what separates him from the criminals he captures. If Batman were a cool with killing, why does Arkham Asylum, the psychiatric prison where all the bad guys go, exist? And not killing people is why it's such a shock when Wonder Woman actually does kill. Like when she killed the man named Maxwell Lord, Wonder Woman 20,
Cut his fucking head off.
Killing has always been painted as the last resort for these heroes, not an intrinsic element to their heroism. And since their creation, superheroes, including ones Snyder has depicted in his movies, have shown that morality and heroism are intertwined. clearly Schneider doesn't believe in this. Though if you're watching superhero movies, it's not that that his fans have any reasons to think otherwise. So I wanna take a side section. I want to fling back here. He's talking about, quote, losing your cherry watching Watchmen, his 2009 film. You mean the film based on somebody's book? The film based on a better book? The film based on a book that talks about how these heroes, no matter how violent, murderous, and psychopathic they are fundamentally powerless to make the world a better place because they're murderous psychopaths. That book. Fuck this guy.
I mean, I read Dark Knight Returns when I was like 7, 8 years old. Oh, it's Larry.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hi, Larry.
What up, buddy?
Hey. What did I completely cold jump into?
Talking about why
Thicc
Zack Snyder's a
Moranis.
piece of shit. Yes, flee before the curse of Thicc Moranis is upon you.
Well, I mean,
And
shouldn't
Dick
we be
Sweat.
talking about? Shouldn't we be talking about how Peter Jordanson became the Red Skull?
Oh no, that's in the
Jordan
list.
Peterson.
Jordan
That's
Peterson.
in the list.
No, Peter Jordanson.
Jordan
Haven't you seen that
Jordanson?
video? Haven't you seen that video of Jordan Peterson debating Peter Jordanson on the Joe Rogan Experience,
No.
where they splice two clips of Jordan Peterson together, and because of the vagueness of how they're written, it looks like they're having a conversation with each other.
Also, my God, hello, Mr. Chin. You're actually here for once when Church will
What up?
undoubtedly say silly things about you.
What up, Donnie boy? What now? What will I do about Don Chin?
Oh,
You
Donnie
say silly
boy.
things about him all the time, but I've never actually met the man to the best of my memory.
Oh, Don Chin's the greatest. He
I'm
apparently shipped out some of my swag. Now the email I got, Don, is that the book or is that the book with the lunchbox and the mug and all the covers? I don't know if you put both of my my campaigns together, but you know, I'm looking forward to using that lunchbox at work and talking to everyone about it.
I still haven't gotten my Rooster book yet.
People are getting their Rooster books. I've seen that on Twitter.
I have seen on Twitter as well. But I don't believe it until I get my Rooster book. I don't believe it's real.
Right.
It's
my-
like
I-
comments in
I
the
got my
news about
vestige
Donald
too.
Trump. Yes, but that wasn't anywhere near as late.
Vestige 2 wasn't late at all. It was early.
Exactly. That's why it's not anywhere near as late, because it was on time. Not 2 fucking years late.
I got my Captain Love chapter 2.
Man. Let's see.
Nice.
You don't want to talk about how Captain Falcon
my
and the Winter
monster-
Soldier's terrible?
My Monster MD should be in next week.
Why do we have to talk about facts that everyone knows?
Yeah, can we just not?
But what's interesting is I watched some YouTuber who did a video essay on how they had like a whole virus subplot that they removed, but they kept the Black Lives Matter subplot.
Surprising nobody.
Oh, isn't the real WrestleMania happening in Minneapolis right now?
Well, no, that's actually Starrcade, not WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
Wait, we keep jumping back and forth between stuff. What are we actually supposed to be talking about right now? I'm
Well,
lost.
I was just talking about the civil unrest in Minneapolis right now because apparently the cops can't stop killing black people there.
Well, no, they can. That's why there's civil unrest in Minneapolis right now.
Oh, because they didn't kill a black person? There's civil unrest?
Well, no, it's like basically there's a no-go zone. There's a no-go zone where activists are shooting black people and taking them out of the zone to the hospital.
What?
Did they need to go to the hospital before they were shot? Like, is being shot a
No.
prerequisite for going to the hospital?
Well, frequently being shot is a prerequisite for going to the hospital.
I mean, needing to go to the hospital is a post-requisite, but...
What if you're not shot? Is there another reason you could go to the hospital?
This
Yes.
is why we are under the curse of Thicc Moranis. Because we would rather wrestle with the eldritch abomination of Rick Moranis' face on a big booty chick than with the ethnic
How dare you?
inadequacies.
How dare you assume their gender?
Assume the gender of Thicc Moranis? Absolutely.
So I watched the last TV show that Joss Whedon is likely ever gonna be involved with.
Oh, what's that?
It's called The
Teletubbies?
Nevers. So the Nevers, let me just make the pitch. What if the X-Men, comma, but they're in the Victorian era, comma, and they're all women, comma, except for the gay black guy, comma, and
Wait.
society's against them because they're challenging the social norms.
See, there was a
Exclamation
reason.
point.
There was a reason that I dipped out of that thing sight unseen, knowing nothing about it, and that was It started with the name and ended with I didn't care.
What, you don't like a generic science fiction show set in the Victorian era that tries to put modern feminism 100 years plus
You
early?
You mean another one? Another bad one?
Well, no, I mean, like,
No,
really, they're
that's
all
what I'm
the
saying.
same. They're all the same, so
No,
we
that's what I'm
shouldn't really
saying.
call them another
So-
one because
No,
they're
no,
all
we
the
have to-
same.
No, we
They're
have to
not
call it
distinct at
another
all.
one. No, we have to call it another one because there was Penny Dreadful, which is I was like, oh man, Josh Hartnett, this is gonna be great. That was trite. And then there was a Dracula with Rhys Meyers that I thought was like, oh, this is gonna be great, and it was trite. And now we have another Victorian series with powers that's trite.
There's actually a somewhat
Excuse me.
good one. What if the Baker Street Irregulars, but they're solving supernatural crimes?
As
I heard
the,
about that one too.
as the Snake Men from the Cthulhu Sherlock
But
Holmes books that just came out.
But the thing I like about the Irregulars is, while it does the whole trauma theory thing, it actually has their characters working through their trauma to do something heroic. So the trauma actually has a point in the story. It's actually being different.
Sure.
I don't believe it.
We can talk about Invincible, which is a good animated adaptation of a good comic book.
So we talked about the first volume last week, but the thing is, like, I don't want to talk about the TV show until we've watched the first few episodes of it yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't watched it at all yet. So
you're saying I need to power through all the episodes so that I can be there when you guys are ready?
Yes, correct. Shall we get back to that Vox article, Rune?
Well, I mean, if you're getting back to a Vox article, then you're giving Vox some sliver of legitimacy, and you should never do that.
No, we're giving them delegitimacy by covering them on our show. Come on now. This is a long game. We're playing 4D chess with Vox over here.
Right.
No? Is Rune dead?
I think Rune died.
I mean, we could talk about how terrible Scott Hall looks.
Scott Hall, the professional wrestler?
Yeah.
How do you know?
He was inducted again into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, with the NWO.
Right. And he looks really fucking terrible. Like, he looks worse than Hulk Hogan. I mean, Sean Waltman doesn't look really good, but I mean, he's looked worse. And Kevin Nash, somewhere around 45, 46, just stopped aging for a while.
That's the steroids.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Scott Hall did more than just steroids.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, Kevin Nash is the steroids.
Because all those guys did steroids.
Well, yeah.
Hogan also did weed and cocaine.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can pretty much take
Not the
weed
devil's
out of
cabbage.
You can pretty much take weed out of your diagnosis there, Tex. Like,
well, no.
No,
Hogan did
no.
weed.
I
Hogan
know,
did
but
some weed.
But the thing is, nobody ever is like, man, he looks like he's 85. It must have been all of that weed.
Well, no. You say that when the guy says he looks like he's 85 and he's actually 100.
No, yeah, no. I mean, we all know about Willie Nelson. I'm just saying, like, it never contributed to anyone's like looking older.
You know, Sean Waltman looks terrible, but he never really looked good. He
Well,
looks like an older redneck.
I've heard that China beat him, so.
Well, yeah. But, like, Scott Hall looks like he's in his fucking 80s.
Oh, who won that title match over on WrestleMania?
Well, I'm not watching WrestleMania because it's garbage.
Man, I need to know who won the title fight, though, because it was Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns.
It's probably Roman Reigns.
That makes me upset.
But, I mean, I'm just saying that because I'm talking shit.
I want it to be Daniel Bryan because, you know. Daniel Bryan.
Yes?
Yes.
I'm so lost.
Daniel Bryan has this, like, thing that he does where he points his fingers up at the air and goes, yes, 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 and starts to chant with the crowd.
Not what I meant. I'm trying to figure out how we got here.
Oh, because RuneKnight went away, and he was kind of our pivot point for this conversation.
Damn it, Rune. You were keeping us on track. Where are you?
So the match I was really interested in was the Rhea Ripley Asuka match.
Oh yeah, well, Rhea Ripley deserved her title shot. Like,
And also, Rhea actually looks like a legit professional wrestler.
Roman kept the title.
Mhm. Unfortunately, defeating Edge and Daniel Bryan is not going to get him over.
He didn't need to go over. He's already over.
No, he's not over. That's the problem.
I mean, people like him a lot more as a heel than a face.
I don't like him at all, though.
Well, I mean, would you?
No?
I mean, he keeps beating the shit out of Kevin Owens, and that's just a no-no in today's fucking WWE. Like, KO is wholesome.
Yeah, and the plan is for next year's WrestleMania, he's going to do a retirement match for The Rock.
Who, KO?
No, Roman.
Oh. The Rock gonna come back as the head of the table?
Rock's going to come back so Roman can retire him forever as a professional wrestler.
And then have like a Rock Hulk Hogan kind of like redemption arc or some shit?
No. Rock's never going to come back again.
No, I'm saying like Roman will have like the change of heart and won't let the Usos jump Rock or something.
No, it's going to be just like he's going to force Rock to, lose and then never wrestle again.
Oh. Yeah, that'll stick.
No, it will, because Vince can't pay The Rock enough to come back.
Well, The Rock was only in it for the XFL, so.
So The Rock's going to do this in an attempt to try to get his cousin over. Again.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work.
No.
Because Roman is a giant personality suck.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has a lot of potential, but, I mean, he's only ever going to be a heel.
Well, no. Seth Rollins has potential, but they don't know how to book him. They don't know how to book anybody anymore. I mean, it's not as bad as AEW, but that doesn't say a whole lot. Like, it's like saying, hey, Ta-Nehisi Coates isn't as bad as Vita Ayala.
I don't know what that means.
Well, Ta-Nehisi Coates is a terrible comic book writer who made Peter Jordanson a Nazi. And Vita Ayala was the person who made the What If the X-Men Have a Sidekick story.
Oh.
And she's selling herself as black, gender fluid, and queer.
Of course it is.
That's her marketing.
Of course it is.
Her ability to write is like 4th or 5th priority on her.
Yeah, we know that wrestling's all staged
isn't
and
that all you
bad,
need
Don.
Isn't that all you need on a resume to work for Marvel these days?
That doesn't mean we can't critique the staging.
Oh, okay.
All right, so where's this Vox article so I can help you guys get over?
In the show suggestion chat.
All right.
It's the Snyder thing.
I mean, I don't know why you guys are talking about the Snyder Cut because it actually did terrible business for HBO Max.
I mean,
well, no, like it didn't lead to a large boost of new viewers.
Well, of course it
And
didn't,
it didn't
because
have
people just added it onto their Hulu for a week.
And no, I mean, like, not a lot of people watched it on Hulu either.
Oh.
More people watched Godzilla vs. Kong.
Which was also bad.
That was so boring.
What?
Oh yeah, that was awful.
What's wrong with both of you?
Well, Dragon Zord didn't get over on it, so.
I got like 45 minutes in and then got bored and turned it off.
Yeah, there was no Green Ranger dagger with Dragon Zord. They kept calling Dragon Zord the wrong name. I broke him.
I don't know how to respond to that at all.
The big monkey didn't let Mecha Dragon Zord get over.
Well, no, Mecha Dragon Zord was there for the blow off.
No, but he was supposed to get over. That would have led into a prequel sequel.
He got over by helping Godzilla. And that also blew off his feud with Godzilla.
There was no dagger flute though, and that just ruined the whole movie for us.
Yeah.
So, how far did you get in this shitty Vox article?
We got past all of the parts where Zack Snyder said "fucking," which was all of them.
Because he's an edgy boy.
Yeah, we're pretty much done with the article, but we just never really got Rune's take on it. I think he died.
We never really concluded.
I mean, I kind of feel bad that I jumped in and did a run in.
That's okay.
I mean,
because I feel like you guys needed a run in because you're talking about the Snyder Cut after the Snyder Cut's not relevant.
No, we've been talking about the Snyder Cut pretty much weekly for the past month.
But why though?
Because one of us will watch it,
and you, and then
watched it. Haven't you seen all the news articles about the J.J. Abrams plans for the DC universe?
No.
What?
Yeah, J.J. Abrams' master plan is being leaked.
And what's that?
So you know how the big thing right now in DC Comics is they're doing the Justice League of the Multiverse.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's going to be the new DCEU.
Oh.
So there's going to be a DC multiverse, and they're going to plug and play things. But the Superman they're going to use for these new movies is going to be black, and it's going to be played by Michael B. Jordan.
Of course it is.
Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to write
it. I'll sign on for this if they get Nick Cage in blackface.
He's not Prince William.
No. That was Prince Harry.
No, it was Prince Philip that was in blackface pretending to be DMX.
Or Prince Philip. Whatever.
You never saw pictures of them together, Larry. You can't disprove that they were the same person.
Well, I can because Prince Philip didn't do bath salts.
You don't know what he did in his own time. The royal family are private, goddammit. You don't know.
He actually had, good health. As opposed to things that would happen to you if you did bath salts.
No, he did not have good health. You would only live to be 99 years old if you did bath salt, Larry. Calm down. Normal, healthy people don't live to be 99 and look like that. Like you don't look like a jelly wax doll if you're healthy. You look like a jelly wax doll if you did bath salts recreationally.
Or if you drink the blood of children.
So did you guys watch the shitty Melissa McCarthy superhero movie?
No.
Yes.
That's become the new YouTube trend, talking about how terrible Melissa McCarthy's movie she did with her
It,
husband is.
it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, though.
I can't stand her. I've never liked anything she's been in.
Right, but you know, like for example, there's Tammy. Tammy is definitely going to be worse.
I don't think I've seen that.
Then there's the version of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was Rumor Wilson. But it was also terrible and unfunny.
Yeah, all I know is she does the same thing in every movie. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm fat and clumsy and loud and annoying.
Yeah.
And bitch, shut up and stop eating so many goddamn cheeseburgers.
I mean,
Come on.
you guys saw the video of the female stand-up comic who cross-dresses as a male stand-up comic and does her set, and
Sarah
nobody
Silverman?
laughs. No, not Sarah Silverman. Like an up-and-comer does this for like a reality show.
Oh no, I haven't.
And
seen
like
this.
you know, she has like a more respected comic who's like her mentor and shit, and like nobody laughs. Like it's dead silent. Not like nobody even heckles. It's so bad.
Ugh.
And she's like crying on the stairs, and the male comic is going like, "You're funny," and this and that and the other thing, and she like gets more and more pissed off because she realizes he's patronizing her.
No, I have not.
But then the denial kicks in, and she says, "Oh, it was sexism all along."
It was
Oh.
sexism all along.
Always.
Since I'm late returning to the party, what was sexism?
I was talking about a YouTube video about a female stand-up comic who pretended to be a male stand-up comic, but doing her entire female set, and nobody laughed. Nobody even heckled because it was bad. And she initially had a moment of introspection where she realized she wasn't funny, but then self-denial kicked in, and it was sexism all along.
I mean, that's why what's her name? Melissa McCarthy saw as a career.
McCarthy.
McCarthy.
TH. Don't you put her last name the same as mine. How dare you?
Anyway, they were wanting to have you finish your rant about Justice League that I did the run-in and interrupted.
No, that's fine. Of course, at the height of being on stream, where my mom tries not to interfere, she decides that now is the time to summon the neighbor to do a couple of things, so she can try and wheedle some cigarettes out of him, and I gotta manage a dog and humans, and
So in other words, you're saying I did a run-in at the exact opportune moment by sheer luck.
Yeah, no, you Hail Married the show. You've saved the show. As
usual.
Yeah. Good job. You get a cookie. No, I'm just supremely of the opinion, and the more this goes on, the more I believe it, that Zack Snyder is a disingenuous fuck. When people talk about cultural vandals, they always want to point at the social justice set and go, they're destroying our pop culture. No. Profiteers are destroying our pop culture. Zack Snyder should not be allowed near a superhero movie as far as he could be thrown.
Well,
right, and the Snyder Cut was actually not that popular.
Regardless of how popular it was, what did you think of it?
It was a coherent telling of Zack Snyder's vision, but it was not a coherent movie.
No, it was best suited for a miniseries, probably 6 episodes broken up into chapters.
No, it wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good, but it was best suited for a miniseries format and not a single take.
Also, structurally speaking, it was the same movie as the theatrical cut.
No, I disagree there.
No, it was the same structure.
But the theatrical cut had literally no story for Cyborg, and he was basically the fucking protagonist of the Snyder Cut.
Right, but from the structural standpoint of the movie,
Almost,
Cyborg's not the
almost
protagonist.
like Josh Whedon had a problem with Ray Fisher. Who'd have fucking thunk it?
Well, no,
I'm
that's
not
not
even
what happened.
talking. I'm not even talking about specific movies. I'm talking about Zack Snyder, the person. I think that he's got this undeserved golden boy status right now, and people are forgetting just how much of a piece of shit this guy really is.
You mean like how we talked about how Bruce Wayne should have been raped in prison?
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into some of the stuff that Chris Terrio and some of the other people are saying that's bullshit later, like how, oh, the studio wanted Batman to torture people. Really, the studio wanted that, not the guy who, before he got the job of doing a movie with Batman in, said his Batman would have been raped in prison.
See,
I'm just saying.
I can objectively say that is not true, and I can say that because put on my old man hat for a minute. 30 years ago, in the halcyon days of the 90s, we got a Punisher movie with Louis Gossett Jr. and Dolph Lundgren, and it was amazing. And the thing is that that movie was regarded very poorly for not living up to its expectations, and it didn't live up to its expectations not because it didn't have a good budget, although it didn't have the budget for what it wanted to be, not because it had a bad story, although the studios insisted that they needed to have a kid, right? But because when the director and the writers came forward and said, "Here's a Punisher movie. It's basically a superhero in the style of Jason, and we're gonna watch a slasher flick where bad guys get shot," the studio was the ones that wimped out and said, "You can't do that." And that has always been the way. Studios don't want the more extreme depictions of superheroes. They want the more profitable ones, which are family friendly. Always has been. Also, we thank my mom's dog for his commentary. It's valuable.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
I
look,
mean,
that dog likes Snyder Cut. I could tell.
But like there's some retelling of history to try to get Zack Snyder to make more of these movies, even though he can't because he's contractually signed on with Netflix.
Well, that and of course the recontextualization where they're also trying to say that Warner Brothers is trying to screw Zack Snyder. They're trying to undo the Snyderverse, and these are all lies on both sides of the fence.
Mhm.
They are all corporate manipulations,
Because the Snyderverse was already undone.
and not even by Joss Whedon. It was literally done by time.
Yep. It was also undone because they said, let's take Suicide Squad more like Guardians of the Galaxy because people like that. And the only two things people liked about Suicide Squad is Margot Robbie acting like a slut. And I mean, that's what she did with Harley.
I mean, I can't blame her because Harley, in the majority of recent books, has kind of been a slut even before Margot took the job.
Yeah. And Will Smith not sleepwalking through a part because he's starting to get that whole Bruce Willis sleepwalking through parts thing going on. Those were your two compelling things that were really anchors for that movie.
I mean, there is a key difference.
I didn't like Will Smith's performance at all.
I do want to comment on a key difference. Bruce Willis can sleepwalk through a role and still be likable. Will Smith can sleepwalk through a role, and unfortunately, he's still Will Smith.
Yes, but he wasn't sleepwalking through that role. He was doing okay.
No, he was just fucking it over because he wanted to turn Deathstroke into a good guy because Will Smith, in contract, refuses to play villains.
Yeah, that was a problem on the studio's end.
I'm sorry, not Deathstroke, Deadshot. He was playing Deadshot.
I mean,
Deathstroke's an altogether more interesting character.
Well, I mean, interesting is it's a word.
Well, no. In Green Arrow, because it was in the earlier seasons, it hadn't completely lost its shit yet. I really liked the guy that played Slade Wilson. He was really good.
Yeah, he did really good.
Yeah, but then if you know like the story of what happened with Slade Wilson and the tower falling and all that crap, like I don't know, Deathstroke just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Well, I mean, Deathstroke is a corporate
like
take
Dick
that about
Sweat.
Deadpool, so really,
Mhm.
well, no, Dick Sweat is a wonderful person, and you should vote for him, sir.
Yes.
But no, I mean, Deathstroke is good in spite of himself, because Deathstroke is just grumpy Deadpool, and technically I should not like either of them.
But basically, Deadpool, since Rob Liefeld stopped being involved with the character, has been garbage.
See, I would actually postulate that Deadpool's always been garbage, but that's just me.
Right, but basically, Deadpool is a comedy haha character. He is a massive
Well,
garbage take.
in the beginning, Deadpool was actually a serious character, and then they just kind of
Right.
went off the rails with it.
Well, I only mentioned
Likewise,
because
Harley Quinn is a funny haha comedy character, is also garbage.
it's true. I only mentioned though because I was recently told by Razor Fist that I have bad taste because I specifically said in regards to the Daredevil Netflix series that I don't like Elektra and I feel that she drags down everything she's in.
Well, I didn't
Um,
get to the point where Elektra was in the series. So,
It-
when was that?
Oh, Jesus, I want to say that was season 2. She's basically the second half of season 2. The
Hmm.
first half has John Bernthal being the Punisher, and it's pretty good. I won't say it's great. I'll say it's pretty good. And then the second
He was a
half
strong
is,
addition as the Punisher.
but then the second half is Elektra-centric and is set up for Defenders, and it's awful.
Because
Because-
Defenders was awful, because the cast was hired for individual projects, not, okay, we
And-
need everybody to have a team-up show
Well,
at the end of all
we,
this.
Well,
We've
that
got
and Danny Rand needed to not be there.
we've got about 3.5 minutes left in this broadcast, gentlemen. So
Oh, I mean, don't we have more things to talk about before the curse of Thicc Moranis comes upon us?
we do.
We haven't talked
but,
about Red Skull yet.
We have.
We
Well,
haven't talked about how they're taking away the bat signal because it's problematic.
Turning the freaking bat scare.
Well, no, you're taking away the bat signal because the bat signal actually causes light pollution and it disturbs the environment.
No.
Wait.
No.
What?
No. It's not that at all. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. This is from comicbook.com. So this is from the CB. Okay. As fallout of quote the Joker War and quote Infinite Frontier, Batman's status quo is changed until they change it again. Commissioner Gordon is retired, and people are mad about the idea of vigilantes on the streets. So they're taking down the bat signal, and Oracle has instead proposed that instead of one bat signal, we're going to have a bunch of bat signals. Right? We're going to have 12 bat signals.
But
Right?
why though?
Okay.
Allow me to quote. It's not like the cops are going to put the old one back on the roof in the central precinct with Nanako in office, Barbara says. But I think it's important to remind people that you're still out there, and I want a way to keep in touch with when you turn off your radio. The plan includes developing 12 different bat signals to put across the rooftops around Gotham. These signals won't ever appear on the same roof twice and be picked up and relocated by members of the Bat family after just one use. So
Well, that's
basically,
stupid.
basically, Batman's gonna play walkie-talkies.
Well, why not just steal the Fantastic Four gun then?
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm waiting for the Bat app, where when you need a bat signal, you just send up an app, like in the cartoon.
Yeah, that was actually mildly interesting.
The thing is that ultimately this has to do with, in my opinion, although I do not believe it is specifically a social justice, patriarchy, blah 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 issue, the continuing assault on Batman conceptually because rich white man has giant light to tell people he's there is unacceptable. We need to decentralize it and
We need to-
demythologize it.
Yeah. And also,
it's
rich
like-
white man's connected to the police, and police are bad.
Right, exactly. It's like, but But the thing is that we came for that quote-unquote rich mythology. I am told by many, many players in many games that the old World of Darkness is better than the new World of Darkness because of the rich mythology, so I can only assume that people give a shit about their bat myth.
Well, no. Those people do, but they don't read comic books anymore because the people who write comic books don't care about that.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And then, the only other thing we didn't touch on was, Red Peterson.
Jordan
Skull.
Yes.
Look, pet your cat.
Wash your penis. Change your bed.
Those are all things that have clear Nazi undertones.
If you analyze all of the variables of social
but the really important thing is Perch brought up a very prescient point in his videos on how Captain America was selling hundreds of thousands of copies when Ta-Nehisi Coates started writing Captain America, and now he's selling 20,000 copies.
Tens. He's selling tens of copies.
Yeah. And how Black Panther, when Ta-Nehisi Coates started writing Black Panther, was selling hundreds of thousands of copies. And when he stopped, he was selling tens.
Yeah. No, this is what I was commenting on earlier. I think I was commenting on it on a different podcast this morning. These are corporations. These are companies. Mm-hmm. No matter how wrong-minded or back-assward they get, they will eventually do the math because the numbers matter. And they will look at what's making money and what's not, and they will eventually decide to kick to the curb the things that don't work.
Well, they have math that actually tells them that this works.
I mean, that math will bear itself to not be true sooner or later.
If
they'll figure it out.
Math, like if you multiply toxic masculinity by
here's what you get. Ayrton, shut up. Timmy, stop it.
See, it works.
What he's saying is that this time, same bat channel, probably a different bat day. But
so in other words, you want me to explain? You want me to make the best case argument for the social
I want you to let me. I want you to let me finish what I was saying.
I think Church is trying to wrap it up.
So this time next week, we will have read and reviewed the Red Skull Jordan Peterson issue, and
okay,
and we will talk about how it is such an insult to Jordan Peterson's brand. Until then, loyal.
Can we talk about how it's an insult to the Red Skull?
loyal gospel people. We're gonna pretend Rue didn't say that because we like him. But we will see you guys.
I love Hugo Weaving. What are you talking about?
We'll see you guys on the
and we won't make jokes about what cleaning your room is secret Nazi code for.
With washing.
Wait, is it secret Nazi code?
Of course it is.
Well, I mean,